Good morning to everybody. I hope you all are well, and it's really awesome to be back with you 2 days in a row. I'm looking forward to the show. Yesterday was awesome. My name is Sean Taylor, and along with the technical wizards that are the Wild Earth technicians, we'll be with you for the next 2 hours on Live at the Waterhole. And already we have a magnificent sighting here in Etosha with this beautiful big bull elephant. Oh man, what a way to start. It seems like it's our lucky charm with the elephant, so hopefully we have an awesome day. Now guys, don't forget, I love to hear from you. We love to hear from you. It makes our day when you guys chat to us, so don't forget to send your questions and your comments. You can send it via all the wonderful channels that are going to be below your screen now, WhatsApp, social media, as well as our website. And please, it'll be awesome to hear from you guys. And yeah, we're hoping it's going to be an awesome show. So let's get going. We've got this bull elephant here in Etosha. So Etosha is in Namibia. And as I said yesterday, Namibia is one of my most favorite places to go on safari to. It's just, there's something about Namibia. It's magical. There's just, there's especially nighttime in Namibia. And it is probably one of the best places in Africa to see black rhino as well. So yeah, I'll tell you what, whenever I get guests that are keen on a trip to Namibia, I get so excited. I think I get more excited than the guests actually. And Doug, you're saying what a way to start. Thanks for joining us, Doug. Yeah, what a beautiful way to start. And that's such an iconic shot, isn't it? That elephant in the background with that kind of like white gravel. Such an authentic Etosha kind of silhouette. And I see he is drinking. So as you guys know, he always goes for the elephants always go for the freshest water source that they can find. Yeah, Megs, while I'm talking, I see your message coming through, Meg. It's good to hear from you. So you're saying the sky looks a lot lighter than usual. So it's the soil type, Meg. So Etosha has got, it's the type of soil, and there's a lot of salt content around as well. And so what these elephants do, like all elephants, they'll throw mud on themselves. And when that mud dries, they get like a white coloration to them. And that's why they look a lot lighter than we're used to seeing with our big boys at El Doño and in Kruger National Park. So he's got his SPS 50 on, obviously today. And you'll notice the tusks are a bit different as well. And you'll notice as well that he is a bit smaller. I know he's huge, obviously, but you will notice that he's a little bit smaller, tusks are a little bit smaller, and that's just because it's a lot drier in Namibia. And where Etosha still gets a lot of vegetation, it's a lot drier, there's not as much bulk around for the elephants, and so they tend to be a bit smaller, and their tusks tend to be a lot more brittle as well, so they've got to kind of look after their tusks a lot more than, say, the El Doño elephants and the Ellies and Kruger, who get a lot more calcium in their diet. These guys have got it going on though with sodium. They get a lot of sodium. But we're gonna give this guy a little bit of time to have a drink, and we're gonna head on over to, I believe, El Doño, and see what's going on there. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine panning over to El Doño and just not seeing elephants? Not only would it be disappointing for us, but I think there'd be a lot of people wondering what has happened. It would be a catastrophe. I see the dentist is there. So it's our regulars that are always at the waterhole, and it looks like they are having an absolute jawl, as we say in South Africa. So a really fun time, having a nice shower. But as we have grown to love these elephants as well, and we know what they like, there's going to be lots of conversation going on, and possibly the odd push and grumble, as only boys can do. You know that we can't help but rough and tumble all the time, and we never get over it, really. Boys will be boys, right? Either that, or they just thought, you know what, if we absolutely ruin this place, the zebra just won't come back, and then we'll have it all to ourselves. Funny guys. Ansi from Hartenbos, he was saying before when we were at Etosha, what a lovely scene. Yeah, Etosha is absolutely stunning. And then Nathan, you were saying Kenya must have the biggest elephants in Africa. Nathan, yeah, there's a genetic strain in that area, in particular in the Amboseli National Park, which is not too far away from here. And yeah, some of the biggest elephants in Africa you'll find, even going into Tanzania as well, which is a hop, skip and a jump over the border not too far, going into Sulu. I mean, those elephants are absolutely humongous. And yeah, they tower over everything. There was a bull elephant that walked in yesterday on the program, and I mean there were 5 other elephants around the waterhole, and he walked in and you could just see he was huge, absolutely massive. There was a question yesterday about how tall elephants get, which is about 3 meters at shoulder height. I reckon that guy was a bit bigger. He was close on I reckon about 3.2 meters at shoulder height, which is absolutely, I mean, it's just 3.2 meters. Just think of how high that is. I mean, you fall from 3.2 meters, you could easily crack a bone. Yeah, and these guys are standing at shoulder height. It's crazy. We've got some zebra. I just spoke about the zebra now, and it looks like they're plotting revenge in the background. Their tails are going. Sometimes I actually think the zebra's brains are connected to their tails, and when their tails start wagging like that profusely next to each other, they're busy hatching a plan. So let's see in the course of the next 2 hours whether anything comes of it and they come in like they did yesterday. And these elephants seem to be owning the waterhole at the moment. So Jackie, welcome to the program and thank you so much for your question. You're asking us, could an elephant become protective or possessive over a single waterhole? So Jackie, yes, they can. So in the dry season, when there's not much water around, they could easily become very, very possessive over a certain waterhole. I mean, just look at these guys. Whether it's come rain or shine, these guys are here all the time. And sure, they get chased away by the gangster zebra, but they will hang around here. And obviously, there's a lot of food around, so they can move off, they feed, they come back. But it's not uncommon for a male, particularly one single male elephant, that if he is in an area where there's good food and one single water source, he's not shy about chasing all the animals off when he's there. But the good thing about them is, generally speaking, with elephants, if they are hanging around a water source for a long period of time, it generally means that there's a portion of that water that's fresher. And if you watch them, and in particular where they drink, not now. At the moment, they're going nuts around the pool. Looks like a gala day at my son's school. But if they start to drink, you'll see they go to one particular side on the far side of the waterhole, and that's where the fresh water is. If the water gets a bit stagnant, warm, very muddy, then they go off and they will dig in the riverbeds and drainage lines to find fresher water. So they can be quite fussy. So they can be very possessive if they need to be. I see the gang are collecting in the background there.
This is an unbelievable afternoon.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marlow Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Palumba in the two cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
And that's it for this morning's drive.
She's just got her impala, everybody.
And we're going to be heading out and seeing what animals we can find. Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing.
Incredible.
Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. The best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
water that they go into, obviously. You know, if there's massive crocodiles lying on the banks, or they know of a crocodile in the water, they won't do something like that. So just that behavior tells me that if there are crocodiles in the water, it's nothing to really be concerned about. It's so dusty, man. Look at all that dust. Plenty of zebra around as well. And this is fairly common for this time of year, actually. What will happen is the zebra will feed pretty much most of the morning, will come down, will drink, and then they go back, and it's siesta time for the animals of the bush. Some will carry on feeding. The zebra in particular will feed quite late into the morning. Due to their stripe patterns, they're able to control and regulate their heat a lot more than the other animals would be able to. And the oryx in the background, they are the ultimate in regulating their heat. That's why they're able to literally be in the middle of the desert. We've got a springbok that's come into the shots as well. Nice. I've seen oryx in the middle of a desert with seemingly absolutely nothing around, and you just see this oryx and you just think to yourself, what are you eating? How do you survive out here? You know, me clinging to my water bottle for dear life, and here's this oryx walking around with not a stitch of water or food, it seems, anywhere around. But that's how Mother Nature, you know, she's unbelievable with how these animals are able to adapt to their surroundings. And the springbok are stunning as well. Man, I tell you what, Kathy G, I know this does look like a dry paradise. Namibia, I think, obviously outside of the rainy season where they get a little bit of rain here and there, not a lot, but certain areas will get rain, especially in the south. It is a very dusty and dry paradise, Kathy. I think it's part of its appeal. It's beautiful. And then Tandor, thank you so much for your question. You're asking, can hoofed animals swim? So Tandor, yes, they can. Some of them are more adapted to swimming than others. You do get your animals like your lechwe and sititunga, which are adapted to water habitats. What a beautiful, absolutely stunning sighting of this springbok here drinking in the water. And so they have, I wouldn't say it's webbed feet at all, but they do have almost like a bit of, it's almost like I don't even want to say tendon either, but it's a bit of loose skin almost, that helps to keep the hoofs from separating completely, and they are able to, and just the way their foot structure is set up, they're able to not just run through water, but they can swim to an extent. Now, they're not great swimmers, obviously. It's not like they, dive in and out and they do like synchro competitions in the bush when we're not watching. But they are a lot more adapted than others. So, for instance, the springbok, if the springbok had to fall into deep water, it would be in big trouble. It wouldn't really be adapted to be able to swim. So again, Mother Nature has many tricks up her sleeve. Every animal has its place, and every animal has its adaptation. So guys, as you know, I always have a theme to the show, and I'm very interested to find out from you guys if there would be, a lot of you know our the cameras that we go through. Some of them are more favored than other due to the animal sightings. But some of you that are new to us as well, you'll obviously know some safari destinations. So I want to know from you guys, if you could choose one destination that we visit on our cameras to go on safari to, why would you choose it? And so basically tell me where it would be and why you would choose it. And if you guys are new, you don't necessarily have to tell us what camera you would go to, but what reserve or area would you like to go to and why? Is it a particular animal you're looking for? Is it landscape? Is it just something you've always wanted to do as a child? Let me know. Let me know where you'd like to go and the reason for it. Be awesome to hear from you guys. So something interesting I get asked from guests of mine, especially when we're in Kruger National Park, is they'll say, if your springbok is your national animal, how come they're not in your national park? And there's a good reason for that. So springbok are adapted to your drier areas. And because they're adapted to a drier area and kind of higher altitudes, they are not privy to the different viruses and diseases that you get out in the kind of wetter areas of South Africa, especially on our eastern coast, on the eastern side of Africa, northeast, where Kruger is. And so they've tried a few times to introduce springbok into Kruger National Park. But they just, they kind of cope-ish during the winter season. But as soon as summer comes and we have an explosion of ticks, which is generally what happens, in particular, there's a tick called a bont tick, B-O-N-T, bont tick, and that tick actually carries heart water. Now, the animals that live in Kruger Park and are endemic to that area, they carry the immunity, so the heart water doesn't bother them. But the heart water for the springbok is just deadly. They are not able to deal with it, and thus they die out. So unfortunately, it's a death sentence putting them into the park, and thus we don't have any springbok there. But we are very fortunate to have them in places like Safari Hoek and places in South Africa as well. Namely the Kgalagadi area, which is on our northwestern side, where we do get springbok. So we do have them in our country, but sadly not in our national park. We've got some oryx coming down as well. Well, they were coming down, but now they headed off. Party poopers, boo! They are beautiful animals though, aren't they? They really are. Oh man, I wish they were coming back down to the water, but we might get lucky. Maybe they'll pop back down again, or we'll get a few coming down to El Doño when the elephants are finished. But we're going to head to Tau now and go see what's going on there. Oh, we got a beautiful male kudu running in the background there. Seems very interested in something going on. I'll keep an eye out for you. See if he picks up on anything. And then we've got some Egyptian geese in the water now. Egyptian geese are painful in the spring when they start to breed. They're monogamous, and the males and females will breed in the same areas, or at least try and breed in the same areas and stay in those areas pretty much. But they fight with other Egyptian geese, and for some reason they feel the need to fight in the early hours of the morning. So you know what it's like. You're nice cuddled in bed, got a nice warm blanket. You don't have to do anything until like 7-8 o'clock, so you're thinking, okay, I'm just going to lie in bed, and then they start fighting on your roof. And man, I tell you what, it's very difficult to be a bird lover in situations like that. I'm not going to lie. So it's very, very common at this time of year now to see all of these Egyptian geese around because the breeding season has started. I'm very interested to see what that kudu. Look how gorgeous he is. He's beautiful, stunning. You can see that those beautiful spiral horns of his. He's very interested in something over the other side of the bank there. Check at that. Very interested. Ears forward, head up. And it honestly could be anything. It could be a predator of some kind. Yeah, could be anything really. Sometimes it's an alarm call from another animal or a bird that gets them really kind of really upset.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Woo. This is action-packed. My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so because I've... Best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Every week, the wilderness delivers.
And that's why we're here.
Drama, chaos, crimes, humour. All moments you'll never forget. We've counted them down, argued about them, and finally picked the very best. From rare sightings to classic bush showdowns, this is nature's weekly highlight reel. Sharp facts, bad jokes, and the wildest top 5 you'll see this side of the savannah. It's not just a show, it's a wild bush week.
Got your bachelor herds as well, and you've got your breeding herds, but they don't interact much until one of the females come into estrus. Then it's game on. Then there seems to be a something on the wind, and the males start to fight. Now, we see a lot of documentaries on TV where, you'll see these massive fights with these animals over breeding rights, and you think, jeepers, how did these things survive this all the time? But the fights are quite rare, funnily enough. Most of the time the animals will posture, and they'll have their heads up, and various animals have got various displays that they'll put on. And quite often one male will just not engage, either because the one male is bigger than him, or his horns are more impressive than him. The only time you'll get animals that will fight, or males should I say, that will fight, is when you get two males of similar size and similar age. and the fight is kind of on, then there's nothing to be scared of when it comes to posturing. That's when they fight. And with these kudu, what they do is you see those beautiful spiraled horns of that male. What they do is they lock horns, and they almost have like a headlock. They like lock, and they turn, and they try and turn the other one's head down onto the floor. And that's essentially what will happen. The one that turns the other one's head down, sometimes they fall down as well, depending on the force. That male will obviously then be the victor, and then we'll go join the female herd and say, look what I've just done. You must be so impressed with me. So every now and again, though, in the bush, we'll find that these males get locked up, and they get locked together. I've seen it once before, where the males just couldn't get out. They got locked together and couldn't get out, unfortunately. But for the most part, it's a little headlock, and then life returns back to normal. And I'm loving all the bird life. You'll see on the bank side of where that kudu is on the right, there's 2 black-winged stilts. Beautiful, beautiful birds. And then there's various whistling ducks, white-faced whistling ducks. Lots of different birds here. And I'm sure we'll come back and have a look at the birds. I know a lot of you are birders. We're going to head off and go see what else is happening in other parts of Africa. So we've come to Ongoma. Now, he must be drinking. I think he's drinking. Yeah, I think so. I'll just see whether he lifts up. I think he's found a place where the water, possibly this is being pumped, and he's found a break or something like that. Let me just see. He seems quite... What is he doing? No, he's not drinking. Interesting. He could very well, so you possibly find that what probably has happened is there's an elephant that's scent marked there, maybe a female that's in estrus, that he's picked up the scent. So just so you know, right, Facebook was invented in Africa. I don't care what anyone says. We were the original Facebookers, because these animals have had Facebook accounts for thousands of years. Take this, for example. He's just opened his DMs, and he's got a message, and he's highly engaged in this message. Possibly could reply. It depends on how he feels. But yeah, man, this is the original social media. Having a sniff, seeing who's been around. Some animals like rhinoceros, they've got what we call middens, which is their Facebook account. And they'll mark territory. The females will come in and urinate and drop dung. But he's very interested in the smell there. Be quite interested to see. I'm almost positive there must have been a breeding herd that's come through here, and he's engaging his Jacobson's organ, and he's trying to figure out what's going on and who's who. Isn't he gorgeous? Look at that head of his and those ears. He's stunning. Oh, I think he knows who sent the message. Yep, I think he's going to send a DM of his own. He's beautiful, isn't he? There's some impala in the background there. So, guys, the question today, don't forget, is if you could visit any of the places that we get to visit on anywhere in Wild Earth, whether it be on the vehicle, on the cameras, or if you knew any place in Africa that you'd like to visit, where would you go, and why would you go there? And I've got a few coming in. So Ansi, thanks so much again. You say you would love to go to Kenya, specifically to the Serengeti for the wildebeest migration. That is awesome. It's a proper spectacle. That And oh, great. Well, he's essentially, that is how he sends his DM, guys. So he's answering his message in a very primitive way, you know. And now someone else will come and open up that DM at some stage. So he's just making sure that he answers. He's being polite. You know, no one likes to see the blue tick on WhatsApp and then no one replies. Let's be honest, because you're being ignored. And who doesn't like, well, who likes being ignored, should I say? So he had the blue tick and now he's replied, and I think that's great. I think it shows respect. Good for him. We've got some Springbok going around. But yeah, Ansi, you're talking about Kenya and the Serengeti. I'll tell you what, so as you guys know, Wild Earth, at Wild Earth we have a travel section, and next year, this month actually, so just over a year's time, between the 6th and the 14th of September, James Hendry is going to be running a safari in the Amboseli and Masai Mara National Reserve for a group of 6 people. So this is the 6th to the 14th of September next year, guys. And it's going to be spectacular. There's going to be boat trips and game drives. And I mean, we're just talking about birds previously. There's over 400 species of birds, massive hippopods. I mean, the elephants and the wildlife is stunning. Just the vegetation and everything below Kilimanjaro is worth the visit. And of course, our tuskers that we see around, there's always a possibility of seeing these large tuskers, and of course the predators that call that area home. And the best part about it is it's going to be privately guided by James himself, who's actually a bit of a specialist when it comes to Kenya. So keep that in mind, guys. 6th to the 14th of September. If you're keen, there's only 6, so you got to kind of get in there early. Don't leave it to the last minute. You won't be disappointed. Let me tell you, it'll be absolutely awesome. So make sure that you give a think, and if you are keen, contact Wild Earth Travel, and they'll set you up. Dalen, you were saying that's a good healthy elephant. He's a beautiful, beautiful boy. All right, guys, we're going to head over and see what else is going on with the other cameras. Ooh, more zebra. Nice. Don't you just love these guys with those stripes? And if you're a photographer, these guys are awesome, because you know if you can get them with the landscape, but also if you get a couple of close-up shots with them, you can work, especially if you've got that beautiful morning or afternoon light. You can get some beautiful photos of them in color, but if you want to manipulate it a bit and go black and white, these guys are just honestly like you can get some phenomenal photos of these guys. I love taking photos of zebra, actually. And look how healthy they all are. If you look at that mane on the back of their necks, that's all standing up, and that means that these guys are in very good health. And check that zebra in the middle of the group there drinking. Looks like he's an imposter. Am I right? It's a bit browner than the others. Looks like his costume hasn't come out too well, and he's kind of like hiding out, thinking no one will know it's me. So Helga, you were saying your happy place is the Blader River Canyon for its serenity and tranquility. Helga, I'm not going to disagree with you on there. The Blader River Canyon is absolutely stunning, and I've been very fortunate to guide guests in the canyon, but also go up on the helicopter. and see it from the air. Now, for those of you that are not sure about the Bladder River Canyon, it is the third largest canyon in the world, but the world's greenest canyon. And it is located in the kind of the northeastern side of South Africa, just outside a town called Hoedspruit. And it is just absolutely beautiful. So Helga, yeah, good choice. And plenty of animals around there, Helga. On my helicopter journey around, I got to see an antelope called an oribi that was in grasslands on top of the canyon. I nearly fell out of the helicopter. I got such a fright. I couldn't believe it. It was so awesome. And then Brian, ahoy, Sean. I like it. I like the pirate theme. Yeah, Brian, thanks so much. Ahoy to you too. You're saying that you're drawn towards Tau Madikwe, which we get to see obviously with the cameras because of its mountain vistas and diverse wildlife. And the unique seasonal transformations. Brian, you should be writing books and poetry, man. This is beautiful. I agree with you, Brian. It is stunning. Although I wouldn't be able to put it so eloquently. So thanks, Brian. That's it. I really enjoyed that. Everyone seems so chilled and relaxed there. See, quite a few of them are coming through now. It's so interesting as well to watch these guys and just kind of, I'm just sitting here quietly just watching the different interactions. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard me say before that this won't be one herd of zebra. This will be many herds of zebra. Generally speaking, a herd can be anything between 12 and 18 with a dominant stallion. What brings these herds kind of together is obviously food availability and water, number one. But number two, what's interesting with these animals, especially all migrating animals, is the bond that forms between the youngsters. So when these herds come together like this, the youngsters form bonds, and it keeps all the different herds kind of together, that bonding with the youngsters. It's very interesting. It happens with eland as well, wildebeest. There's quite a few different animals where we've noticed that the youngsters are almost like the glue that keeps these big herds together, and then they move around looking for water and food. So I went quiet trying to kind of decipher. One thing I'm noticing, because we get to see these herds so often, we're so fortunate to be able to see these cameras every day. One thing I'm noticing is you'll get a herd. So now I'm almost positive that was a herd that drank. And they're going to move away from the waterhole, and when they move away, another herd will come in. And they seem to, I've noticed with them, they drink together and then we'll move back into like the crowd almost. But there still seems to be that social togetherness that the herd still has. But they obviously stick it out for the food and the water that comes out. But I've always noticed there's always a group that goes to the water, except for obviously Aldonio, where they just swarm the elephants. But I don't blame them for doing that, because otherwise they'll never drink. But yeah, it's one thing I've noticed. Have you guys noticed that? Let me know. Is it just my imagination? Maybe. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think. So Penelope, it's really nice to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining us. You're saying that as a KZN girl, that you would love to go to Tembe Elephant Park for the elephants, obviously, and Tau just to sit on the deck and watch it all day. I don't blame you, Tau. I see there's a kudu on the far bank there, female kudu. I don't blame you, Penelope. It really is a beautiful place to actually go and sit and watch it. I think we should actually move back to Tau and see what's going on. Gee whiz. We've got like looks like a like a conference, an impala conference. Plenty of impala there. And again, this will be a few different herds for food and water. And it seems quite windy. Now, guys, just bear in mind, I'd love you guys to watch how the animals behave when the weather, how they behave in the different weather scenarios, should I say. For instance, you can see that it's a bit overcast and it's a bit windy.
This unfolds in front of you.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Greatest wildlife spectacle on planet Earth. We'll see you there.
Every month, something wild lands in your inbox. From rare sightings and behind-the-scenes secrets to expert stories, seasonal changes, and exclusive travel opportunities, the Wild Earth Journal is your free monthly mailer, packed with the magic of the wild straight from the field. It's fun. It's free. It's full of surprises. Sign up now on the Wild Earth website.
Afternoon, and then you've got to start, tracking, talking about trees, talking about dung. I can't tell you how many times I've had to talk about dung and get off the vehicle and have a chat about a big pile of elephant dung and try and make it go over 20 minutes when it's really quiet. But when the weather's like this, action is about to start. So we're going to head on over to one of our other spots and see what's going on. Leave these impala to their windy situation here at Tau. Oh man, we have some Kori bustards, our largest bird of flight that we get in Africa. The last 2 days, man, Namibia has been producing. Let me tell you. It has been producing some amazing sightings. Wow. So this is for our non-birders out there. This is a really good sighting. You don't often see these guys together now. This is a male and female, and the male. So they practice polygamy. So the male will have a few different females that he'll have within his flock, and it is going into the breeding season now. You might find that that soon there are going to be some eggs. Vic, you're asking if they can fly. Yes, they can fly. They are not the best flyers. They're very, very heavy. I mean, that male there that's on the bank, female's a little bit shy after talking about the breeding season. But that male, he could weigh up to 20 kilograms. And so when they get up and fly, their wingspan is absolutely massive, but they're very heavy. So they'll get up and fly for a distance. It's really just to move away from predators, because I've actually seen cheetah take these guys out before. And the youngsters get taken out by jackals. So they'll take off a little bit and then they'll drop down. You see he's inflated his neck, so there's definitely breeding going on. That neck can get 3 to 4 times larger than it normally sits, and at the moment that's not as big as it can get. Unbelievable. Strutting his stuff, I love it. Benji, you're saying it's a very unfortunate name. Benji, I can't explain why you say that. I'll get into trouble. But I know what you're saying. Okay, I get it. I'm with you, Benji. I'm with you on it. I've said it a few times around my kids, and they look at me as though, they think I've said something that I didn't. So thanks for that, Benji. He's beautiful here. Wow. Some photobombed there by some springbok. And they lay their eggs on the ground, so they're fully a terrestrial bird. They don't lay their eggs or make nests in the tree. The secretary bird does. So if any of you know what a secretary bird looks like or have seen one before, they do make nests, particularly on the top of umbrella thorn trees. They love those, whereas these guys will nest on the ground. They make like a little nest, and the male has zero interest in looking after the eggs or the chicks. He's just there to spread the genetic information, and off he goes. Yeah, to be fair, looking at him there, he doesn't look like the kind of dad that would be too interested in going and watching a cricket or soccer game. Let's be honest. He doesn't look like that kind of guy. He looks like the kind of guy that struts around, puffing his neck out, and just carries on with life. He is beautiful though, isn't he? With those black speckles on the edge of the wing there. Beautiful guy. Dark Main Lover, hello, or how's it? I hope you're well. You're saying Corey busters are like flying Thanksgiving turkeys. Yes, they were. I suppose if we had to give a moniker to an African bird, they would be like a turkey. I would say probably Corey bustard would be a very good option. And they actually they are used as a food source. So in Botswana, the Bushmen did used to eat these guys. Actually, it's really good meat, as you can imagine. I would hazard a guess that it possibly could have been the original KFC, the Kalahari flying chicken. Levi's just looking around. What is he doing? Oh man, they're funny words. Love to know what he's looking around for. He's probably looking for other females. He's on the hunt. It's not easy being a terrestrial bird, guys. Let me tell you. When you lay your eggs on the ground, you can just imagine how often you get, harassed by mongoose and monitor lizards and other birds of prey as well. It must be almost like impossible for these females to look after their eggs, and they don't lay many eggs. It's normally only 1 or 2 eggs that these guys will lay. So each female will lay about one to 2 eggs. It's quite often not 2. Most of the time it's only 1. And the incubation period is just under a month. It's about I think it's about 27, 28 days if memory serves correct. So it's not a long period of time either. And they grow fairly quickly as well, let me tell you. By the time they get to 4 or 5 months old, the chicks now are flying around and moving around with the rest of them. So they're fairly independent when they are born, even though the incubation period is fairly short. They're very independent. See that? He's just watching his lover in the background there. So cool just to watch these guys and just see how they move around and how they act. They're so strange, so prehistoric. So Nara S, thank you so much for your question. You're asking, do they make any mating calls? So the male actually makes this booming. I'm not even going to try and make it do it because I'll probably make my dogs bark. But yeah, it's like a booming, like almost similar to like a ground hornbill. It's very distinctive, very, very distinctive. If you hear it, they prefer open grassland areas. So if you do, it travels quite far, obviously, because of them being in the open area. Oh, nice, big oryx just passed by. So yeah, it's very distinctive. You'll hear it, and it's quite an interesting sound. It's just carrying on with their daily lives. I think, guys, we're going to leave them because we're kind of losing the sighting. And we're going to head over to Founders and see what we can find. Oh, man. So, guys, those are little goslings, Egyptian geese goslings, swimming around in the water. Now, Mom and Dad won't be far. There we go. On cue. Here they come. Beautiful, beautiful little chicks. Now, these poor geese, they're goslings. They've got to be so protective over these goslings because these goslings just get eaten by almost anything. The different reptiles like monitor lizards, crocodiles, other birds of prey. I've seen a fish eagle take one as well. So Mom and Dad are just constantly under pressure with these guys. But I mean, how cute is that? Those little babies. And they're so young as well. And they're water dependent, these guys, but interestingly enough, they don't breed close to water. They can breed up to a good couple of kilometers away from it, actually. I would say that's probably because of the danger that comes with breeding near water, because obviously everything comes to drink. So you very, very rarely find their nests close to water. They've got various types of nests. They'll take old raptor nests. They'll nest on the ground. It just depends on the area and where they are the safest. I mean, how cute is that, eh? It's a small clutch, though. They can have as many as between 18 and 22, 23, if memory serves, of these goslings. So I don't know if there are others, or maybe with Dad somewhere. But yeah, I only see 4 at the moment. But yeah, they can have up to 20 odd of them. So there's quite a few of them. And these guys are really common. I mean, pretty much everywhere you go, you see Egyptian geese, or at least hear Egyptian geese. You can hear the call there in the background. Hello guys, we are back. Unfortunately, we had some technical glitches and we lost the feeds. But the technical wizards that are the Wild Earth team got us back fairly quickly. So sorry about that. I hope you had enough time to grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Or if you're in other places of the world where you pass 12 o'clock, a beer or a glass of wine, and you're back with us here at Tau, where we can carry on with our chat about the Egyptian geese. How wonderful. I'm sure you guys are riveted by that. We also have some waterbuck in the background there as well, busy feeding. And I've been so busy talking and going on about stuff that I have missed a few questions. So while it's fairly quiet, let me run through one specifically about the Cory busters, because we don't see them that often. I want to get through the questions. So where we my glasses. Here we go. So, Spas, thank you so much for your question. You're asking me, are Cory bustards territorial? And you've asked if they are the largest bustard in the world. So, Spas, it's good to talk to you again, and thank you so much for joining us. So, Cory bustards, so most birds are not territorial in the way in which a lion would be or a leopard would be. Most birds will be territorial during the breeding season. So at the moment, that male that we saw at Safari Hook that was parading around with his neck out, he will be territorial to a point. I think that waterbuck thought there was a croc there. There might be a croc there, actually. Got a bit of a fright. Spas, they'll be territorial at the moment while they're breeding, and then as soon as the breeding season finishes, that need to protect a certain area because of the females he's got will end. And then life will just carry on as normal. So it's more look at this waterbuck. There must be a croc around there somewhere, I think, or at least the memory of a croc that was there. And then your second part of the question, Spash, you asked if it's the largest bustard in the world. It is the largest bustard in the world. It's also the heaviest flying bird, and it's the largest member of the bustard family. You do get the great bustard, which you get in Europe and Asia, and they are quite big, but not as large and as heavy as the Cory bustard in weight.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Ria, you say the best kind of roadblock? Absolutely. Look at this.
Hello, girls.
To its name and wading through the water. So it's very for any of you that haven't had a scene like this before and hasn't seen animals interacting, this is very common to see. I'm just laughing at that waterbuck having a spasm in the middle of the screen there. I think he's trying to play with the Egyptian geese, but they're not interested by the looks of things. It's really common to see different species of animals congregating around each other. Safety in numbers. Each of them have their talents in terms of some are tall, some have got better hearing, some have got better eyesight, some have got better smell. And so congregating around in big numbers like this just helps to alleviate any predator activity. I see there's two massive crocodiles just at the bottom of our screen currently. Jeepers, they are huge. Wow. Flat dogs, as we call them. Beautiful guys. Maybe we'll be able to see them if we're able to get a better camera angle. But we'll see if we can make that happen. Andy, thanks so much for your question. It seems though we're at a waterhole. You see the impala is also trying to chase the Egyptian geese away there. Andy, you were saying, you were asking, is the survival rate higher in smaller pans compared to big dams? I'm guessing you are referring to the Egyptian geese goslings that we saw. That's that impala. So, Andy, yes, the survival rate would be higher at the smaller pans, but it depends. If that pan is pumped, in terms of it's getting water in daily, and it becomes they're the crocs, and it becomes a permanent feature, then that would kind of take the safety aspect out of it, because it would mean that the animals would get used to the water being there and would come through fairly regularly, and it would be part of some of the predators' territories, in which case then it wouldn't be very safe. But if it's a seasonal pan and something that kind of dries up, it would be a lot safer than others, because the animals wouldn't necessarily factor it in to their main territory. Because for animals, it's important for food and water to be a permanent or semi-permanent part of their existence in their territory. So I hope that answered your question, Andy, and thank you so much. We've got these beautiful crocodiles here. I mean, prehistoric, unbelievable, huge things. I love crocodiles, one of my favorite animals. I love them. Even though I'm on the menu, as are all of us and every other animal and bird, I still really enjoy them from a distance, a safe distance, of course. Just look at them, just dinosaurs. Unbelievable. And these guys were on the brink of extinction in the 60s and 70s, believe it or not. Especially here in Africa, they were being poached. They were in a very, very similar, if not more precarious position than the rhinos are at the moment. And And what saved them was commercial farming for skins, actually. That kind of completely destroyed the black market because they could essentially sell skins into the market, one in bulk, but two at prices that would just make it useless for the black market to carry on. And so that single-handedly saved our Nile crocodiles, to which we have a lot now around Africa, as we see. Those waterbuck are having an absolute jaw, or so much fun there on the other side of the bank. I love it. They're just having fun. Why not? I mean, beautiful setting, there's water, there's food, the crocodiles are on the other side of the bank. Why not enjoy your life, man? Life's too short, especially out there, let's be honest. So Gillian, it's good to hear from you, Gillian. You're asking me, how long do crocodiles live for? So in the wild, they can live up to about 60, 70 years old. The females on the high end of that, so around 70, even over 70 years old, because they don't have territories that they have to defend constantly like the males do. You know, they only really put under pressure when they are protecting their eggs from something. But the males generally around about the 65-year mark, because they just get hammered by each other in terms of territory. But that's in general in the wild. I just love these. Just look at that. That we call it stotting. That waterbuck was doing. It's very cute, man. So yeah, Gillian, but in captivity there are reports of crocodiles living for over 100 years. Yeah, imagine being live and dangerous for 100 years. It's pretty impressive. So they have a long lifespan, Gillian. It's it's not like a 10-year danger and then they disappear. They'll stick around if there's food around in particular. But even so, they are just phenomenal in terms of they're able to drop their heart rate. So if there's drought or there's not a lot of food around, they can actually drop their heart rate down to levels where we wouldn't survive. But they go into a dormant stage, essentially, and they will utilize their fat. The fat's stored at the base of the tail. And so they feed off that fat store, and they can do it for years. Because they drop their heart rate so much. So they are just the most amazing creatures, phenomenal creatures. But we're going to leave these guys and their little stotting, and we're going to head over to Safari Hook and see what's going on.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
I get to wake up every morning and go out there and look for cats. I get to create my everyday safari for myself. Myself, I grew up in the sort of central eastern suburbs of Johannesburg, fully qualified trails guide and a fully qualified nature conservationist. I love the wild places. I love being in the wilderness. It's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had and probably ever could have.
Ah, the bush, full of beauty, wonder, and absolute chaos. And now, all that madness has its own show. It's called a Wild Bush Week. The countdown of the most outrageous, heart-stopping, and sometimes downright ridiculous wildlife moments of the week. Lions throwing their weight around. Hyenas gate-crashing the buffet. Leopards doing, well, leopardy things. Each week, it's a fresh reel of safari gold. A mix of drama,
She's just got an impala, everybody.
danger, and a healthy dose of laughter. So, if you fancy a highlight show with bite, and I don't mean just the animals, tune in to a Wild Bush Week. You bring the tea, and we'll bring the tusks, tails, and teeth.
I love it. I love it. I love the attitude. It's just, you know. Mr. Elemental, hello. You're saying it is very Turkish. I do agree. I think I'm going to start calling them bush turkeys. I think that's what we're gonna start doing. So a message from Deb D. Deb, you've asked if I can please repeat the bird name. Now I don't know if you're asking me to do this to get me to say it just to laugh at me, or whether you are actually asking because you are genuinely interested. So I'm going to say it because I think you are genuinely interested. So it is called a Cory bustard. Cory bustard. Would actually be quite cool. You know, you get these viral videos that go out on social media where the guy will get somebody, you know, in the supermarket to call out a name. There it is on screen. Now you guys can see how to spell it as well. You know, those videos where they ask someone to call a name, like I've lost my friend, and they give some really dodgy name and the person actually calls it. Maybe I should try at my local Checkers to ask them to call. Can you just call my friend Mr. Cory Bustard, and see whether they actually do it or not? Yeah, Wildlife Lady is saying we've been very lucky seeing the Cory Bustards lately. Yeah, it's because they're breeding, so they're a lot more active and a lot more showy, as you can see. And Harvey, thank you very much for your question. You're asking, can all antelope pronk? So no, Harvey, no, not all antelope pronk. Pronking is generally for the, you know, your springboks and your gazelles. Your gazelles will pronk, and then the various other animals will stot. So some of your horse-like antelope will do something called stotting. But the pronking is kind of a gazelle thing. They put their hair up on their back, they put their head down, and they jump. Looks like they're on a trampoline. It's very cool to watch. So Scotty H, thanks so much for your question. You're asking us, might there be eggs around? That's why they're getting tense. So there could very well be eggs around. It might be a little bit early, but I've got to tell you, you know, with the weather patterns that we've been experiencing over the last few years, I have noticed that the birds, our spring season starts a lot earlier. And so when that generally happens, the breeding starts a little bit earlier as well. So generally, the breeding season for these guys starts in October and runs through to Feb. But there could be eggs around, Scotty. I don't think it would be there by the water. There's just way too much traffic. You've got the impala coming through. You've got the oryx that we've seen already. The ellies will come through as well. And, you know, in these drier areas like Safari Hook, when the ellies see the water, they run. And no jokes, the whole herd like gets excited and they run down to the water. So these guys will know this. And so if they do have eggs at the moment, they'll have laid it kind of further up, away from the water. Generally speaking, the females stay on the eggs as well. They don't really move off them. She will sit on the eggs while they're incubating, and every hour or so she'll shift and move around, but generally speaking she stays put. So my intuition would be they don't have eggs, but yeah, it's a good question, and I hope I answered it right for you. EJ, you're saying it's cute to see the Bustard family having a date, going out for a drink. Yes, I think it's very chivalrous of him to take her to the local to the local drinking hole and having a drink, and yeah, I think it's great. Good for him taking her out on a date. So guys, sorry, we are having technical glitches a little bit with the cameras today. So we're going to hang around Jamala a little bit. Just wait for the feeds to come back. We're probably going to end up going back to Aldonio at some point. But yeah, the tech team are just working on getting the feedback. It's what happens in Africa, man. You know, you're in the middle of the bush. These things kind of happen. So please forgive us. And let me think. While we're there's not much animal situations happening. Let me think of a story that I can tell you guys. Something interesting that has happened to me recently out in the bush. Oh, okay. So I've got a story for you guys. So I was at a lodge with guests, and this lodge has got walkways between the tents. So you've got your main area where you eat, and there's you have a few drinks, and it overlooks a waterhole. But then going out kind of east and west from the main area, there's a wooden walkway with various safari tents that you can go to. And the one afternoon, we were chilling on the deck, just had lunch, busy chatting to my guests about what we were going to do that afternoon, where we were going to go. We'd been fortunate enough to see a crocodile actually take an impala at the waterhole, probably an hour before this. So we're busy talking about that. And the next minute, one of my guests runs back towards where we were sitting, visibly really upset, and says to me, "There's an elephant at my room." So I kind of get up and I go, and I say to her, "Listen, let's not run up to him. Let's just have a fast walk, but let's not put too much pressure on him. Let's just go." True as Bob, we get to it's the main kind of walkway. And then there's little mini walkways that go to the tents. And there was this bull elephant that was on the walk, just off the walkway. And he wouldn't move. He wouldn't let my guest pass. So every time she tried to get into her tent, he would mock charge her. Now, this would be seen as an aggressive tactic by this elephant. But this elephant was posturing. So what he was doing is he had his ears out, head up, and he was just being a pain, honestly. For any guides out there that have seen this happen, or anyone that's fortunate enough to be in and out of the bush, you've seen this happen before, where they force you down the road or they don't let you past. They just, I don't know, they just get this weird like thing where they get bored. I don't know what their issue is, but he wouldn't let her past. Okay, so I said to her, look, let me try and negotiate a settlement with this elephant. Just stand over there. And let me tell you, this elephant mock charged me 3 times. I actually have a video of it. He mock charged me 3 times within a couple of meters of me. Now I'm tall, right? So I'm just under 2 meters. And when an elephant, a big bull elephant, mock charges you to a couple of meters, you realize, actually, I'm not very tall. I'm not that big. I thought I was, but actually I'm not, because this thing has just blocked the sun out, and here I am, like the ant. But I wouldn't back down, and he wouldn't back down. And eventually, he turned, and he ran off like a scolded child. It was so strange. He bolted off, and I felt quite bad, to be honest with you, because I'm a naturalist, and I feel bad when you kind of have to chase these animals off, from a human habitation that never used to be there. But I did make friends with him later on. And to the best of my knowledge, he came and ate around the area, and I chatted to him. He probably had no idea what I was saying, but in my mind, I've made friends with him again, and we never had a problem with him later on. So there's probably a bull elephant somewhere in Kruger Park that's just waiting for me to drop my guard, and then I'm going to be in trouble. But it was fun. My guest enjoyed it. And I think our feed is back, guys. So we're going to head on over to one of the cameras that's working. Let's see what's going on. Thank you so much for your patience. Oh, perfect. We've got a warthog that's been having a little bit of a mud bath, and the little Egyptian geese goslings and its mom there. Check that warthog. He's covered himself in dust. Now he's having a bit of a scratch, as pigs always do. I love warthogs, man. They are so cute and so funny to watch, especially the piglets. They're very, very cute. And those little tails that shoot up when they run. That's their follow me sign. You've heard me talk about the follow me signs before. The warthog, their tails are the follow me signs. And the reason they shoot up when they run is to just give the piglets something to focus on when they're running through the long grass, just so that they don't get lost. So I've got a question from Paul. Thank you so much for your question, Paul. You are asking us if there is one place I would recommend someone to visit for the best all-in-one safari experience. Where would it be? Paul, to be honest with you, I don't think there is another destination in Africa that, for what you pay and the experience and the hospitality that you get, can beat South Africa. Most of the other African countries, you're paying US dollars, so the price straight away goes up quite high. Whereas in South Africa, the rand is fairly weak. And so coming from overseas, you can have a really, really good safari for a good amount of money. And what's nice about South Africa as well is that it's not really just about the bush. You know, there's the Indian Ocean, there's Cape Town. We call it the Republic of Cape Town because it's basically like a Mediterranean city. We've got the garden route that runs all along the kind of eastern into the west coast. We've got the drier kind of desert areas on the northwestern side going into the Kgalagadi. We've got forests. We've got, I mean, we have everything in South Africa. And so you can do a really amazing trip and amazing tour in South Africa. And what's really cool as well is if you come out to South Africa and you do a tour, you know, if you come back, there's always other things to do. There is going into Botswana. It's only a 2-hour flight. Going to Victoria Falls is a 2-hour flight. Going to Namibia is a 2-hour flight from Johannesburg. You know, you can go into Zambia. I mean, there's just so much that you can do from South Africa as well. It's just unbelievable, guys. And if any of you are interested in traveling and coming out to any of these destinations, you've got to visit our website, Wild Earth Travel. Because not only does it get you to these amazing places, but it offers a personal safari experience. So you're getting a tailor-made experience if you're coming as like a group or a family or whatever the case may be, and you want something a little bit more special, a little bit more private. You know, Wild Earth can get you there and plan these amazing things. So you've got to get out there. And of course, you know, you're meeting all these animals on the various feeds and the game drives that we go on. And you know, if you watch often and you see these animals, it's you know, Wild Earth put together some amazing trips where you get to meet some of these animals in person, basically at a distance, obviously, because some of them are hungrier than others. Some of them will squash you too. But yeah, it's an amazing situation. And yeah, it's don't if you are looking at coming out here, like I said, Paul, South Africa is the most amazing place. And if you are looking at coming out here, Wild Earth Travel will have you covered all the way. I wonder what that warthog is busy feeding on. Busy feeding on something. Oh, besides our little goslings there and our warthog, I think let's leave Founders and let's go to Aldonyo and see what's going on around the waterhole. Nice. Got a bit of a rubber-dub-dub, bunny in the tub happening. It's beautiful. It just looks like so much fun, right? I mean, and here in the southern hemisphere, we're going into summer. Although the weather is, the last 2 days it's been cold. So there's been no swimming happening. But
oh, wow.
some ellies that we're approaching now.
The light on her as well is absolutely gorgeous.
So we are going to enjoy the rest of this sunset.
Wow, this is absolutely crazy.
And thank you for joining us. For myself and Cam, we will see you next time.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
And the mud off intermittently, and that gets rid of scabbing skin, dry skin, insects that get caught in the mud. He's going to exfoliate, basically. That's what's happening. And then he'll come back and just do it all again tomorrow. It never ends. Monique, you're saying as an Australian you can feel my pain when it comes to Christmas. You're not the summer fan. I'm not sure what part of Australia you're from, but if you are, especially from the north, I feel sorry for you, because it does get absolutely filthy hot that side, as the Aussies would say. So I do understand, but we do it for our family, man. The only thing I refuse to have on the Christmas table is Brussels sprouts. I've never understood the allure of Brussels sprouts. I mean, they're terrible. I play cricket with them, if I'm honest. I don't eat them. I hope I'm not offending any Brussels sprout fans out there, but yeah, I'm just putting it out there. I've tried to tell my kids for years that they're actually poisonous and you shouldn't eat them, but my wife keeps telling them that I'm lying. So she's not helping. So they're on the table every year. I just stay well away from them. I'd rather be charged at by a male lion than eat a Brussels sprout. I'm going to say it there, I'll be honest. So we're going to head off and see what else is going on at one of our cameras. We'll leave our exfoliating friend alone here at the waterhole. Oh, cool, man. So, we've got some vervet monkeys. We very rarely see vervet monkeys. I think this is my first time of seeing vervets actually right at the waterhole and stagnant like that. How cool is this, guys? So these guys are naughty. Let me tell you something. These guys you got to watch out for in terms of they'll steal your food. So if I'm doing game drives in Kruger National Park in the open vehicle, when we park and stop at a rest camp or something for a bathroom break or to get a drink or something like that, we have to take all of the food out of the vehicle, because if we don't, within 5 minutes these guys have just descended upon us and it just pretty much chow everything we have in the vehicle. Oh man, that's cute. Check out the guys on the left hand side there. So what we're seeing, guys, is what we call aloe grooming. So this will be a troop, and this is something that keeps the kind of social ties and the bonds very strong within the troop. So lying down, what the monkeys will be doing is they'll be combing through the fur, removing any dead skin, getting rid of any ectoparasites, getting rid of ticks, I mean, I'll take a head rub any day of the week. I love having. I have short hair, but having my hair brushed or something. Perhaps I was a monkey in my other life, but. If you think about like just having a back scratch or a back rub or anything like that, or a neck rub, we do the same thing. It's kind of that touch is very sacred to us, and of course with the other primates as well. So it's very important that the troops stick together like this. And the troops can be quite large. They can be 30, 40 strong. And there's always a dominant male within the troop. There's not always one dominant male. There'll be a dominant male, and then there'll be some subordinate males of a similar age that will be within the troop that are there for safety reasons. But there's always infighting to see who becomes the boss. And then the rest of the troop will be made up of the females and the youngsters. Man, it's so beautiful. Such a beautiful sight of them lying, and check at that. Or just talking about being by the pool. They're literally taking it. All that's missing here is a pina colada and a deck chair. Isn't that amazing? And they're such beautiful creatures as well. They're so sweet. And we only, when it comes to monkeys, obviously we have Chacma baboons. But when it comes to monkeys, we only have two species, which is the vervet monkeys that you see on screen, and then we have a monkey that hangs around in kind of the forest areas, called a Samango monkey, which is slightly bigger, got like a yellowy orange fur, but they're a lot more shy. And a lot less, you don't see them that often at all. They have a similar call to the vervet monkeys as well, but it's almost like a one-syllable call, whereas the vervet monkeys, there's a few syllables after each other. But what's interesting about both species is they people that have studied them have actually picked up that they have a call for each predator. So if you stay around a troop, if you spend a year or 2 years with a troop and you are studying them, you can actually pick up just by the tone of the call whether it's a leopard or a lion or something like that. It's amazing, isn't it? Check out those little faces. Oh man. Andy? Andy is asking, do you think that the monkeys would steal Brussels sprouts? Andy, they are more than welcome to come into my house and steal the Brussels sprouts. In fact, I would lovingly invite them in to steal them. I'll put them outside for them. I'll even put some bacon with them if they like. Yeah, in fact, that's a good idea. That's what I'm going to do. If my wife buys Brussels sprouts for Christmas this year, I'm just going to conveniently leave them on the windowsill with the window open. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them grabs one and eats it and then just dies on the spot or spits it out and runs away. But probably they would actually enjoy them. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, because again, I've been trying to teach my children that they are poisonous.
Tommy!
Watch this, we're about to see a kill.
You can see how close he is from where I am.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you will not miss out. Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7, and you can even rewind if you have missed out on something. Enjoy the behind-the-scenes video clips as well as fireside chat, or get the early offers on our travel experiences. It's the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Oh man, so we've got some zebra walking off, we've got a stunning clickety-clack eland walking off, and then this stunning female giraffe slaking her thirst. By the looks of things, very thirsty. That stunning eland at the back there. So giraffe, as you guys know, I'm sure, are tallest of the mammals. Females will be around 4.5 to 5 meters high, and the males can go right up to 5.5, 6 meters. And the males are visibly bigger. And one way that we can see it, besides the obvious, obviously, is the males' ossicles. We don't call them horns, we call them ossicles. It's just the way that they are fixed onto the skull. It's basically part of the skull and not an extension of it, so we call them ossicles. Are a lot wider and bigger for fighting, but also bald on the top. They don't have the tufts of hair on the top, and that's the easiest way to tell whether it's male or female. Wildlife Lady, thank you so much. You saying you enjoyed the show. It's an absolute pleasure having you. You have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you for joining us, and I'm really glad you enjoyed the show. So an interesting question, even though we moved away from the monkeys. Marissa Lowe, you're asking, the female that had the prominent teats by the waterhole, does that mean she was suckling a baby? So Marissa, they always have prominent teats, the same as elephants. They also have prominent teats, but they do get obviously bigger and more pronounced when they are breastfeeding. So you do see them constantly, but I do not have memory of whether they were full or not when they were on screen, but it's visible constantly. It just would depend on the size of it, or whether or not. Every now and again on the fur you can see a little bit of milk that's been left over. Sometimes that's a telltale sign. But generally speaking, if they are breastfeeding, the teat is quite swollen and a lot bigger, and that's how you would know that they're breastfeeding. Thank you, Joanne. You saying have a good Thursday. To all of us, technical team and myself and everyone listening, thank you, Joanne. Thank you for joining us. Can't believe it's like 5-6 minutes left of the show. I always have safari live at the waterhole depression when I leave for like half an hour, because I just love spending time with you guys. Yeah, so every time it ends, I'm like, oh no, who's going to listen to my ramblings now? And end up talking to the chihuahuas, or wait until my family get home. Anyway, we're going to move on and see what else is happening. Oh, we have 2 males. So this is not an aggressive breeding rights fight. This is just 2 males just having a bit of a wrestle, just sparring as we call it. There's nothing aggressive here at all. How cute is that? Cute. Can you just imagine the banter? Remember the last time you and I had a wrestle? I made you trip and then you got laughed at by all the impala. No, I didn't trip. I did it on purpose. Can you imagine the funny little chats that these guys have between each other? There's a big flock of birds flying around at the bottom right hand corner. I can't see what they are, but yeah, it's a big flock. Possibly could be Namakwa doves or something like that. Beautiful guys having a bit of a wrestle. And then it's always funny because it always starts as chilled as anything, and then eventually one really gets upset and is like, oh, you poked me in the eye, and then they have like a little grumble and then things relax a little bit. Mike, you're asking, will I be back soon? So I think so. I think I'm back on Tuesday. I think Tuesday I'm back, the 30th. So I will be seeing you guys. Hopefully you guys will join me on Tuesday for another awesome show. Thanks so much, Mike. And then Darkmane Lover saying thanks to everyone for the show. Thank you, Darkmane Lover. We appreciate it. We got 2 minutes left of the show, guys. What a way to end with these Ellies. And thanks so much, guys, for interacting with us today. It really makes a huge difference when you guys interact with us, and I love it. The more you interact with me, I think the better the show gets, because I just love spending time with you guys and talking to you guys. It means a lot, so thank you so much. I'd love to get a photo of that. Hey guys, any photographers out there, you must be absolutely chomping at the bit to get a photo of that. Oh man, with that background, the green trees. Oh, missed opportunity, man. And you can see on the foreground that stump. That's a rubbing post that the animals have been using to rub the mud off, like I was talking about earlier. And sometimes it gets so smooth that it looks like somebody's actually polished it. All right, guys. Well, listen, that is a wrap from us. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and apologies for 1 or 2 technical issues that we had today, but thanks for sticking with us, and it's been a privilege guiding you guys again. And don't forget the game drive later on this afternoon, and then of course tomorrow morning as well. Thank you so much. Much love to all of you, and have an amazing rest of your day.